Welcome to Jonesboro, Tennessee.
Yes, medium rest. I'm sorry.
Thank you. So historic Jonesboro, Tennessee. Tennessee's oldest town, founded in 1779. 17 years before Tennessee actually became a state. It was still part of the jurisdiction of North Carolina, but it's the oldest town in Tennessee. So a fun fact, there was a group of settlers, I think it was called the Watauga? I'm probably slaughtering it, I'll be corrected, I'm sure. They formed their own little committee, government, right? They created one of the first constitutions in America. So that Watauga Association, we'll run with that. Sycamore Shoals, their little group and association, their group near Elizabethtown was the first group of settlers in America to draft a constitution on American soil. It was the first attempt to self-govern, and look, here we are today, right? So Jonesboro was initially part of the Washington District, and in 1784 became the capital of the state of Franklin. Yes, named after Benjamin Franklin, but Congress never recognized the state of Franklin, and it became North Carolina again. And in 1873, there was a cholera epidemic that broke out in the Mississippi River system, I guess, that originated in New Orleans, and it was said it was gonna wipe out 40 to 60% of the population. Sounds kind of familiar. Only this thing was real and had a mortality rate of 40 to 60%. So people ended up leaving Jonesboro to go to some of the healthier areas of this region. And I think there were 75 people left, and 30 of the 75 people remaining ended up dying from it. And then eventually everybody started coming back and settling back in here once everything was said and done. And so then Jonesboro kind of became its own little town again and started thriving again. So now they say Andrew Jackson frequented the area quite often from North Carolina. And rumor was that he wanted to push the court systems towards the Cumberland, AKA Nashville. But he actually huddled down here for months on end. Because it just wasn't safe to travel across the plains and across Indian territory solo. So they waited until they had a big caravan to head that way over there and settle the courts. But so he frequented this town quite often. And there's a little log cabin that's been relocated to the middle of town. So, and the oldest surviving house, this Taylor house, it's a little log house. It was built in 1777 is where he would stay. And rumor has it, his ghost still haunts it. I don't know. I think we need to go investigate. Like the Santa. The Santa's there. Who would have thought little old Jonesboro Santa is just hanging out. Look at that trike. That is sweet. So Jonesboro is the storytelling capital of the world. And they actually have a huge festival, a huge storytelling festival that goes on every year. All right, so this is the Christopher Taylor House. This is not the original spot of the Christopher Taylor House. It was moved here, but this is where Andrew Jackson was held up for a little bit while he practiced law in Jonesboro. And they say sometimes he's just, you know, around the area. Which is really cool that they preserve these kinds of things and prevent them from being demolished, especially with everything else in our history of America that is kind of being erased from us. So when you get to see stuff like this, it's really cool. Jackson, like, channeling us? It might be. So I was just noticing all these flags are donated in honor of somebody on all these flagpoles. That's so cool. So obviously it's cool just to come see the oldest town in Tennessee, but there's a lot to do up here. Like I said, there's all the festivals that go on, the storytelling event, farmers markets, there's all kinds of nature trails, there's a zoo, a water park, museum, tons of stuff. But really cool to come see at least just the history side of things. All right, so we're a little east of Jonesboro. This is Buffalo Mountain Park. I pulled up the map. Now, you might be wondering what I'm doing out here. Hang on, let's see. White Rock Loop, White Rock Lower, the Noggin. The Noggin sounds like a cool place to go, but we're gonna go up this way. Now you might be wondering what are you doing 2-3 hours east of Knoxville, Hoag? What are you doing? Well, I have to shoot a wedding, final wedding of the season out here in Gray, Tennessee. But I figure I'll make a full day of it. I got to come out here. Babs is actually in Gatlinburg with Taylor for soccer, and I was just kind of gonna do some exploring and check out Jonesboro, and then, like I usually do if I have extra time, pull up the map, I'll see what's on that map, and I'll hit a spot and we'll go. So here we are, Buffalo Mountains. We're gonna go up here. It says there's epic views. Don't know what to expect. We'll find out. By the way, the weather is absolutely ridiculous in East Tennessee right now. It is almost 70 outside. We're in November and it's t-shirt weather. Like, it's crazy, but don't be fooled. 2 weeks or so, looks like bomb's gonna fall out, and then max high of 50 and 30s and the low, and it's gonna get cold, but we're gonna enjoy it while we have it. Look at that. This is gorgeous. So we got Johnson City over here. This is like the main Johnson City area. We came from Jonesboro over there, Knoxville over that way. This is gorgeous. You can even go higher too. Like, this would be a fun place to go hike. I got more time. I don't have enough time to really get into it. But this is a cool spot just to come explore and check out. It is just beautiful. I bet a couple weeks ago, I bet when all these trees were full, I bet it was just breathtaking. Not that it isn't right now, but wow. See, you never know what you're gonna find. Just spontaneous, just things to do. So just looking at this map down here really quick. Okay. These Hey Dudes had, back in their heyday, they were great. But they have zero traction now because I've worn them for almost every wedding I've ever shot. Because they're the most comfortable thing ever. But these are not hiking boots at all. And Hey Dude, they get rid of shoes so quick, and I'd love to buy another pair, but I can't get them now. Anyways, back at this board, there are just trails all over these hills. I mean, there's a good amount of trails Looks like your longest one is this White Rock Loop. You can go almost 5 miles in a loop. That's pretty cool. And they do have QR codes on all these trail signs, if you're into scanning those things, but it kind of updates you and lets you know where you're at, which is kind of a cool feature. You can scan it and see where you're at on the trail. So, all right, lovely area. Got to go to work now, but glad we got out here and enjoyed it in East Tennessee.